recently I've come into contact with a guy who goes by the name Zeke, and he was letting me know that he wanted us to visit him for an interview, telling us that he may have an addiction.
So right now, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be visiting his house right now. All I know is that he lives in Mesquite. We did a little bit of talking just through email. We never got on the phone. Nothing much. Not a whole lot that I know about him. We just emailed each other back and forth just a little. And he lives in Mesquite, so it's gonna be a little bit of a far drive. So
As mentioned before, Zeke does live in Mesquite, so we will be driving for a long while until we see him. He has informed me that he believes he's been addicted since he was a little youngster, still in middle school or high school, I believe. And we will be talking to him and trying to educate ourselves. Eventually, we did get to this dude's house, and here is how it went.
all right, so we're about to get to Zeke's house right now. He says he's home. It's looking a little dark. We'll see right now. And this is where it says it is. So let's just park in the driveway. Hopefully he's okay with it. And let's see if this is home. Oh, Zeke? Michael, I'm here to interview you. Yeah, that sounds nice. Yeah, we can go. Yeah.
So, I want to start by asking you what you believe an addiction is. I think that an addiction is when you're dependent on something that over time affects the functioning of the brain and body because you've become so reliant on it. So, by your definition, do you believe yourself to be an addict? Yes. When did you realize this? When did it all start? When I was younger, my parents were the first persons to expose me to substance use. Me, being so young and naive, thought they were just taking their medicine. But it was only until I got to middle school that I realized that my parents weren't taking medicine, but instead were using substances. I brought home a friend once, Pete, and he pulled out a bag of Flocka and asked me if I wanted to try it. At the time, I never heard of that in my life, so I was really hesitant to try it. He kept pushing me and pushing me, telling me to try it, but I wasn't too sure. My parents came in before I got a chance to try it, and he got a little spooked and left. I was a little curious after that, so I found another friend who was able to hook me up with some oxymoron, and since then I was never able to recover. And when did you realize that it wasn't really substance abuse, uh, rather it was actually an addiction? I started becoming more and more dependent on substances. It was no longer a mild substance problem, and it became a more physical and chronic problem. And I was no longer able to feel a high I had felt before, so I started looking to new substances. What are some treatments you've gone through, and maybe some treatments you haven't tried yet? I've tried therapy. I've tried cold turkey. I've tried seeing multiple physicians. I really have tried a lot of things, but although I'm struggling, I'm slowly improving. all I can hope for is that all my friends and family continue to support me in every step of the way. Where does this addiction, where do you see it most affecting your life? I think it was most, I think, I think it most affected my relationships with everyone, like G Star Raw, Phil, and most of my family. I had to stop hanging out with some of the some of the closest and my most favorite people to be around with because they stopped seeing me the same way after finding out I had an addiction, or that they didn't like how things were going. Um, I've almost gotten hurt under the influence. I've gotten arrested a few times, but it's mostly just the relationships that I've tried building or that I've had that didn't end up so well because of my addiction.